Serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus, IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedito. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, Nestor Lecanto has more from a press briefing in the wake of Typhoon Mangkhut. Plus, devastation and debris, the island starts to pick up the pieces. And work is underway to transition displaced families at the DOE shelters. Half a day and good evening. Guam is now in full recovery mode. The governor declaring the island back in condition readiness for noon Tuesday. GovGuam is conducting damage assessments ahead of a formal request to the White House for a national disaster declaration. Nestor Lecanto reports.
At a news conference at Civil Defense Headquarters, Governor Calvo said he anticipates he will be writing to President Trump once they get a complete handle on the storm's impact.
I'm waiting for those assessments to get back to me, and then with that, accumulating them, and then getting the package ready so that I am ready to send that letter to the President, again calling for federal assistance.
Personnel from the Federal Emergency Management Agency are already here, arriving in anticipation of major storm damage. FEMA External Affairs Officer David Gervino says they are standing by should a disaster be declared.
We're just starting the process, but we're working very closely. We've been here since before the typhoon struck with over 100 officials from FEMA right here in Guam, and 100 officials from other federal agencies.
Gervino says the assessment will determine what type of assistance will be provided. In the meantime, the governor says residents who may want to seek FEMA's help should begin recording their damages.
They're going to need a lot of documentation, and any one of us who have been in previous storms in Guam, it's important that you got the necessary information, including taking pictures of the areas that were damaged.
But FEMA's Gervino cautions that there are limits to the help they can provide, and people should look at other sources as well.
A lot of people immediately think of FEMA as like the one and only type of assistance that's available, but the fact of the matter is most of the assistance is actually by local government, state government, nonprofit agencies, friends and family who step up and band together.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Thanks, Nestor. Well, in this next story, a mother's love kept the woman you are about to meet buckled down in her Woodinton home in Dedito. Mother Nature, however, had different plans. Crystal Paco has more.
A 2-bedroom, a kitchen, and a living room.
Or at least that's what used to be. Radina Perez arrived to her Isengsung home on Tuesday morning devastated. The wood and tin home now a pile on the property.
I didn't have a roof over my head.
The mother of 6 used to live in a homeless shelter. In 2011, she received this Dedito lot from the Chamorro Land Trust Commission and made a home for her and her 3 youngest children, ages 5, 8, and 14. She tells KUAM she refused to leave the house at first. This is where her son Richard passed away earlier this year.
I've just lost my son, so I was fortunately taking down his pictures, and something told me, like, just, Mom, you'll be safe. I'm here with you, and stay where he was at. I knew it was something was gonna go down, but something just told me to stay.
At the onset of Typhoon Mangkhut's closest approach to the island, she finally knew she had to abandon the property. By then, her closest shelter was full.
The shelter was on a waiting list at Maria Joa. So I had no place but my vehicle.
She spent the night parked in her Nissan Versa, what she describes as a
rocking boat. I was in there and it was raining hard, dark, pitch dark, and trying to charge my phone and trying to get service and thinking of my kids because it's like I don't know what to expect.
Her shelter for now is this tent.
This tent is just put up like an hour ago. They just rushed. They didn't care about their place. They just came down and rushed down and put up a tent for me, John and Lisa. They're friends, good friends, like a family now. Like, wow. I didn't expect them to come down and, leave their own tin house and come to me.
Perez waits on word for what to do next.
I don't know. I'm kind of like praying. I am praying and hoping the best and fast for assistance and help, whoever is out there to help, and to put something up for me and my kids.
According to Dededo Mayor Melissa Tavares, hundreds in the village are in a similar situation as Paris. These residents are encouraged to sign up at the Estumbo gym to put their name on a list to get help. Though FEMA officials are on island, they will take the lead from Governor DeCalvo, who must first make his assessment. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
And our crews have been going around the island looking at the areas hit the hardest. Several homes in one northern neighborhood were left nearly underwater following the heavy downpour.
Last night I'm really sad. I'm really emotional because, I called someone. They said, I'm asking for help.
A call for help that couldn't be answered as Typhoon Mangkhut hit the Marianas. Tuesday, a much calmer day, but a tremendous loss for Susan Sandrino and her neighbors.
Oh, this is the first time like this.
Just off East Gazanero in Jigo, water rose more than 5 feet. Susan recalls her experience during the storm.
When we left the house, the water outside is really hot to here.
They waded through the rising floodwaters and waited out the remainder of the night in their car.
No other choice. So, and then when our neighbor, good thing I have my data, and then when my neighbor noticed we're there, they asking me to, but even they're flood. We cannot go because I'm scared. It's so dark.
A situation her neighbors had to deal with as well.
Yeah, we don't have sleep last night because of the strong wind. It's like making a big sound, and it scared us. Of course, we get nervous. Everybody, we have no sleep.
Glenda Parija and her family have tended everything they could to save their belongings.
See what happened? Everything from the kitchen, the living room, and in the bedroom, all are wet.
But the rush of water was just too much.
We're very sad. Yeah, so sad. And it's a big. There's a lot of things to do. About the damages, everything, all of it, all of the things are inside. It's all wet. And even the food that we stored, we stuck here.
The floodwaters blocked direct access to their homes. And it was during the height of the storm, many living in this Jigo neighborhood really felt the brunt of that heavy rainfall. Today, left forced having to wade in the water or use these makeshift ramps to get in and out of their properties. Families here are left cleaning up the aftermath.
That's to be done.
Elsewhere up north, residents cleaned up the debris in their yard. Others slowly making their way out onto the road as drivers go through flooded streets. For now, Susan says she is staying with friends until the water recedes enough for her family to assess the damage.
What we can do, at least we're safe. The thing you can, just material you can buy, but as long we're safe, I'm okay. Yeah, we're alive. We survive. So I don't know how we can start right now.
Wet and windy, that's the verdict. Chris Barnett strolls to southern Guam to find out how hard the storm hit residents living in those villages.
Southern residents saying they were prepared for Typhoon Mangkhut, but that doesn't mean they weren't surprised at how strong the storm's passage really was. Pulantat Jotnia resident Dan Cruz clearing debris left behind by the storm this morning, and we asked him about last night.
Trees flying all over the place. Just too much cleaning to do right now.
Cruz chopping this fallen lemai tree into smaller pieces. The start of what was sure to be a very long day.
Starting up early so I can get the job done, move on to the ranch.
Further down the road, Evelyn Santos told KUAM News what her family heard as they huddled inside their home with the typhoon raging outside.
Howling. So, yeah, it was hot and dark, but we can still see the wind blowing really hard.
Cruz agreed even if the typhoon was weaker than what weathermen initially forecasted, the storm still packed quite a punch.
Pretty much strong this time around. Stronger than the last time.
Residents of Jotnya were up early this morning, beginning the recovery phase, assessing the damage from Typhoon Mangkhut, down trees, the norm here in the Pulantat area of Jotnya, and in some cases, extreme flooding. Family members related to the woman who stays in this house told me she weathered the storm in Inarahan, with Typhoon Mangkhut bringing over 9 inches of rainfall to the island of Guam, and it seems like most of it ended up here in Pulantat. All through the south, trees big and small falling victim to typhoon-strength winds. Flooding affected Jotnya and Maleso, with debris also backing up storm drains. Sewage bubbling up through this manhole in Maleso, and in Inarahan, flower bushes that had grown for decades now resting in pieces. Santa's telling us her family was a little anxious with Mangkhut's passing, but the kids made the most of it.
They were just drawing and dancing, making use of the time.
With the way the island prepared, grocery and hardware store shelves wiped out, residents were ready for the worst, even if they didn't know what to expect as Mangkhut wobbled its way into the Marianas.
I think we were lucky. It wasn't as bad as they said it was going to be.
We're just grateful that nothing ever happened serious. So
First things first for southern Guam, cleaning up the yards. But the next thing on the South's mind, even if down south usually gets their lights on way after downtown, the question of the day was still, when's the power coming back on?
come on, GPA. I know you guys are working hard.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Chris Barnett.
Thanks, Chris. Well, everyone wants to know as well, will there be school tomorrow? While the Guam Community College, the University of Guam, and some of the island's Catholic schools are set to head back to class on Wednesday, that's not the case for the Guam Department of Education, GDOE, late this afternoon announcing classes are canceled. Aside from post-typhoon cleanup, many of those campuses served as shelters during the storm. Many of these residents returned home with little to salvage. Carmen Chalai has our next report.
Isabel Perez brought her mother, brother, and 6 kids to Estumbo Elementary School for shelter, afraid her home, where she's lived for 18 years, wouldn't weather the storm.
My mom started to cry because we have no home. So rebuilding, it's like rebuilding, starting life over. I feel bad for her because she's been crying since yesterday. I try to walk around and not pay attention to it, but it's sad how it just comes and takes whatever you have. You work so hard to build.
Tuesday marks the second night her family is seeking refuge in a shelter. During the storm, Isabel was one of 2,000 island residents who were sheltered at GDOE schools across the island. 5 in Guam's northern villages of Jigo and Dededo reached full capacity. Now late Tuesday afternoon, mayors like Dededo Mayor Melissa Savares were working hard to move shelterees to Tier 2 shelters in village gyms like the one in Estumbo.
We hope we can accommodate all those in the north that did have damages. Fortunately, it's a safe haven for them. Now we have praying that the power goes on. We have additional showers and toilets that are here that we can accommodate them at least for those needs.
As you can see, the storm isn't over for many shelterees who spent the night at local elementary schools, now moving to village gyms, hoping to return home soon.
The storm it has touched a lot, especially the ones that lost their homes. So I understand we're not the only ones that lost their homes. There's pretty much everybody else. But it's just devastating how you can't go back to your own home.
If you are still displaced, Tier 2 shelters are open at Estumbo Gym in Dededo, Agenia Heights Gym, and Agate Gym for southern residents. You can call your mayor's office or DPW for assistance. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Turlaki.
Thanks, Carmen. Most of southern Guam is still without power as GPA continues to restore a main transmission line down there. GPA spokesman Art Parrish saying parts of the central and northern areas have been energized, but as of this evening, he could not provide a percentage for the number of fully restored areas. In the meantime, GPA is asking for your continued patience as crews are working as quickly as possible.
Please, we understand your power is out. We're going to know more of these areas, pocket areas, as we bring online our communication infrastructure and have our smart meters talk back to us where these pocket outages are at. We know where you're going to be at. As we go through the process and update the public on where our line crews are at, we will know what pocket outages are out there.
So Paris says there's no need to call about your outage. However, GPA would like to know about other problems.
Lines are sparking, stay clear away. Consider all down lines live and energized. As we start the restoration process, you may hear other things going on like transformers or takeoff fuse going off, making a loud bang in the neighborhood. Those are the type of reports that we need to have coming into our trouble desk.
The numbers to call 475-1472, 73, or 74. Also important to note, the Guam Water Works Authority asks all customers to conserve water, especially those living in Agani Heights, Sinahanya, and Maina. Due to storm recovery operations, officials say that water service in those areas may be interrupted. We have a complete list of services that will be back up and running following the storm on KUAM.com. We'll have more news in a moment.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And to the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, health care that's always there for you.
Let's welcome the first-time parents, the people with the dream to be their own boss. Let's welcome the things that inspire us, connect us. Let's welcome the college graduations, new beginnings, and happy ever afters. At Bank of Hawaii, we'd like to welcome you to all the new adventures, the next chapters, and all the great things you have to look forward to. Welcome to tomorrow. Bank of Hawaii.
I registered to vote because I understand it's important for my voice to be heard, especially concerning issues that will affect me and my island.
So whether you're young
or young at heart,
please register.
Zambota.
Afade, I'm Simon Sanchez. I'm running for the CCU and I approve this message. Let's continue our progress.
Welcome back. While all of the Marianas was on high alert, in the end it was Rota that took a direct hit. Residents there are in recovery mode, but as Sabrina Salz-Matanani reports, federal help is on the way.
As daylight broke, CNMI leaders were able to get a first-hand look at Mankut's mangled mess on the hardest hit island of Rota.
There's quite a bit of damage.
With winds clocked anywhere between 100 to 120 miles per hour, tin roofs went up and power poles went down. Rota Mayor Ephraim Atalig.
We're obviously out of power right now. We are running on a generator as we speak here in my office. And we also without water. However, the water now is partially on.
CNMI Lieutenant Governor Victor Hokuk says communication is already underway with the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation.
Talk to the director of CUC that asking him that if stipend is already at ease with its light crew and water crew, that Rota needs more attention and help from Saipan personnel to at least get our basic and important infrastructure up for our people.
At least 8 families in Rota will remain in shelters for about a week, while repairs to a few government buildings will have to be made. There were also no casualties.
Thank God there's no injury or death, and I thank Lord for that. That is good.
Officials from FEMA, the National Weather Service, and CNMI Governor Ralph Torres began arriving today. Key to the recovery effort is for residents to document their damage.
That we can have a better presentation to federal people when they come here on the island for further assessment.
Relief is already on the way as less than 24 hours after CNMI Governor Ralph Torres requested for a federal declaration of an emergency, President Trump approved the request. This paves the way for FEMA to provide immediate help and financial assistance. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matsunani.
And all government operations in the CNMI, along with CNMI public schools, are scheduled to resume Wednesday, with the exception of all schools in Rota and Rota Head Start Center. Additionally, Northern Marianas College offices on Saipan and Tinian will reopen, and classes will resume tomorrow. An announcement for NMC's Rota campus will be made later. Well, post-typhoon Mangkhut, servers at a local restaurant geared up for the annual day of giving back to first responders and members of our armed forces. It's the little bit they do each year on September 11th as we remember the countless lives lost 17 years ago. It's with each order up, and every customer greeted is what has Christine Matsuoka busy around the clock.
Takeout can be crazy. Dine in.
She's the general manager at this Jamaican grill restaurant in Dededo, taking the lead on satisfying appetites.
Overall, it's mostly chicken and ribs. And that's one of the highest demand. Like, if we don't have that, oh gosh, you're going to hear it from every customer.
But every 9/11 sets a rather different mood for Christine and her staff.
It's a very emotional moment for us.
A time they take to think back on what occurred on September 11th, 2001. Then America rocked as a terrorist attack happened on the World Trade Center in New York City.
I was just a young lady out there trying to find a job, but I do remember that a lot of people was crying, even though we weren't there actually when it happened, but they did go through the devastation like everybody else, and I think that affected everybody, wherever you were.
Now, 17 years later, the city has since rebuilt and every year continues to spread the message that we will never forget the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day.
It's not something that we have control over, but when it does happen, we just have to be able to tackle and move forward with what we have.
By moving forward, Christine means giving back to the local and military first responders in the territory.
We always do this once a year just so we can be a part of the community and also appreciate all the first responders for all their daily work that they do by being out there and helping the public ensure their safety.
Serving up free meals to those who serve the community as they've been doing every 9/11, even hours after Typhoon Mangkhut hit our region.
I think it's a very humbling opportunity for us to be able to do that. Every time they come in, we try and make it as much as special as it is every year. They're not only our first responders or people in these positions, but they do come in as a regular customer. So we've built relationship with them.
Relationships to prove that even 17 years later come more stories of resilience and hope, with the promise that we will never forget. Sports is next. Keep it here.
I know a thing or two about chicken, and I love these new honey barbecue glazed tenders. Maybe because they're sweet, like me. He's just gonna love this. Adorbs. Or maybe because they're spicy, like me.
Thank you for the sweater.
You're welcome.
Introducing McDonald's Sweet and Spicy Honey Barbecue Glazed Tenders. Made with all white meat chicken, hand-tossed and glazed to order. They're the perfect combination of sweet and spicy, just like Grandma.
Has it started?
How easy is it to redeem points using the rewards feature on the Alpha Plus app? I'll show you. To redeem your points, simply present your Alpha Plus app to an authorized representative at any one of our partner merchants. It's that easy. Alpha Plus. Make every day a plus.
Half a day, hungry drivers. Are you spending more time on the road? Shell has teamed up with Wendy's so you can buy fuel and eat free. Just fuel up 7 gallons at any Shell station and get a coupon for a Wendy's cheeseburger or chicken nuggets. Or use 2 coupons to redeem a Wendy's cheeseburger meal with fries and a drink. Fuel up at Shell today because this deal won't last long. Quality service, fuel and food from Shell and Wendy's.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports, brought to you by Triple J. Tonight on the show, we'll take a look at a couple of high school football games for you, starting with the GW Geckos Guam High Panthers game from Guam High. Check it out. After losing their first game of the season to the defending champs, the GW Geckos have won their last 2 games of the season. GW suited up against the Guam High Panthers in what was expected to be one of their toughest games of the year. The Geckos took care of business and walked away with the 20-7 win. Guam High's Jalen Dowdell made some key plays on both ends of the ball, scoring the only touchdown of the game for the home team on a fumble recovery. He took the other way for 6 points. Linebacker John Espino recovered a fumble for the Geckos, jumping on the loose ball in the end zone for the touchdown. The score was the last of the game for both sides, as neither team was able to sustain long drives. Gecko running backs Jesse Manglonia and Shelby Meeks did their part, pounding out short runs to keep time winding off the clock and allow their defense to get some rest. Geckos improved to 2-1. Guam High drops to 1-2. Southern High is 2-1. The Dolphins beat the Ukadu Bulldogs at home for their second consecutive win. A week after picking up a win over the Simon Sanchez Sharks, Southern's defense closed shop on Ukadu for the 20-0 win. An interception by John Tapasnia gave the Dolphins a crack at getting into the end zone before halftime. The Bulldogs defense would hold their ground with the goal line stand, giving the ball to their offense. The home team answered with another turnover, setting up running back Noah Rosalind to punch it in from a few yards out for the 14-0 halftime lead. Southern scored one last touchdown in the third quarter, courtesy of quarterback Nathaniel Esquadra. The Dolphins will now face the Geckos this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the GW Field. The Islanders and Friars, both 2-0 on the season, fought hard to the last possession of the game. Both defenses swarmed the ball, making some big plays. Noah Diaz, the first to get his name called after making an interception for the Friars. FD kicker Sean Sablon put up the first points of the game off a field goal. Chase Spatansky turned momentum in favor of the Islanders after picking up a fumble. JFK put together a drive with some runs from senior running back Deontay Delgado, who got the start in the backfield. Juan Sarmiento tied the game at 3 apiece, kicking through a field goal for the home team. Nick Anderson made the right read, dropping back and hitting his bro Brian for a touchdown. The point after attempt was no good. FD led 9-3 in the third quarter. JFK quarterback Andrew Perez went in for a game-tying touchdown. The point after kick was no good, leaving the game tied at 9 apiece heading into the fourth quarter. Kian Artero took over after an injury timeout sent both teams to their sidelines. Artero followed his blocks and chipped away at the defense to keep the drive alive. He would end the drive with a short touchdown run, followed by a successful 2-point conversion, giving the Friars the 17-9 lead. At the 4-minute mark, JFK's offense sputtered as time ticked away. One last deep ball attempt was incomplete as the Friars held on for the 17-9 win. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Attention drivers, we have a shipload of vehicles on the way and need to make room. Buy now during Triple J shipload sale. Take advantage of our best pricing on all Hondas, Acuras, Fords, Mazdas, Lincolns, Volvos, Kias, and used cars. New cars as low as $137 per paycheck and used cars as low as $86 per paycheck during Triple J shipload sale. See PDN and post print ads for details or visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Trade-ins welcome, some conditions apply. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
It's Cheesy Bites pizza season at Pizza Hut. Your favorite pull, dip, pop icon is back. The one and only Cheesy Bites pizza with 28 poppable, dippable, cheese-filled bites. But hurry, it won't last long because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
And time to check in with today's birthday list from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
The storm is over and it's time to celebrate, especially for those celebrating their birthdays. We want to wish a very special happy birthday to Cynthia Rizzo Caruso and a very happy birthday to Adrian Michael Dela Cruz. Although we may be far in distance, you are always in our hearts. Wishing you well on your very special day. Love, your wife Whisper and your son Sage. And a very happy birthday to our very own Michael Tomorowski from your KUAM family.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Just log on to KUAM.com. It includes your photo, your name, and your birth date. And that's going to do it for me here on Primetime. Good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.